Hello Dragon Wisps, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing another Dungeons & Dragons tutorial. Today's topic is going to be the human race. I had actually already done this, created this video, but unfortunately ended up with audio issues, so I'm hoping it's working better this time. Before I begin, as always, I'd like to remind you to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to become a Dragon Wisp. And if you would like to support the channel more directly, you can do so at the links in the description below, one for Patreon and one for the merchandise shop. And if you would like to join the Discord channel as well, so we can talk more directly. We've got a whole section for ideas and suggestions and everything, as well as a section for Dungeons and Dragons. So you could utilize the knowledge that I'm giving you here to come play a game. But anyway, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy some Dungeons and Dragons chit-chat. So before we begin, I'd like to state that the human race is the most versatile race in the Dungeons & Dragons world, which goes without saying. I personally don't use humans often. I prefer to, choose my races based off of what will complement my class the most, or what will throw people off the most. Like the orc rogue. But anyway, more about that later. So the first and foremost important thing about humans is that they are one of the few races that don't get a stat bonus. Other races, like dwarves, get a constitution bonus. Elves get, I believe, dexterity. Stuff like that. Humans don't get that. Humans also don't get special racial abilities, like the low light vision of an elf or the dark vision of a dwarf. They get nothing. However, they do get a bonus feat at first level, which makes up for the lack of things like dark vision. Something on my glasses. So it's kind of a drawback, step forward sort of thing, which again just adds to the versatility, because then you can use your bonus feat to do something else. Like, for example, if you're going to be a fighter and you've got a 14 dexterity, you can choose 2-weapon fighting, which is also good as far as the human bonus feat goes, because you can choose from any feat that you qualify for, just like you would at level 3, 6, 9, so forth. They also don't get any bonuses to skills. However, you get extra skill points. You get 4 extra skill points. No, not 4 extra skill points. You get 4 skill points at character creation, as well as, no, it is 4 extra skill points at character creation, plus an extra skill point per level. Is it extra? Yes, it would be, because okay, because at character creation you get 4 times the skill points, so it would be 4 anyway. And you also get an extra skill point per level, which can also come in handy for, once again, creating the character that you want, using versatility that the humans have, that the other races don't. They generally only have one language, common, but have the ability to choose from any other languages. Depending on your DM, it can be any language available, or depending on your class, or depending on the campaign itself. Obviously, if you are going to be campaigning in a mainly Elven setting, you'd have more access to Elven than you would to Dwarven. Yeah. Unless you're a druid. You know, if you choose to be a human druid, you automatically have access to druidic, so you're not just common at that point. Anyway, another bonus that the humans have is that they don't have a preferred class, which applies to multi-classing. I'm gonna have a video after I'm done with all like the races, or maybe even just the basic races. One of the videos I'm gonna have is gonna go over multi-classing, because if you don't know what you're doing, it can be a very complicated mechanic. But yeah, so as a human, you can multi-class without taking any penalties for multi-classing, which is also a good thing. Let's see. Honestly, the majority of the humans I've seen people play have been things like fighters or wizards, occasional sorcerer. But it's always like the same. Like majority of the time, it's the basic same thing. You know, you got your fighter or your wizard or your sorcerer. Clerics are also often played as human characters. And paladins, honestly, I haven't seen many paladins of other races, so like just that short list alone speaks for the versatility of the human race. The extra skill points come in handy when you're a rogue or a bard. Ranger. Just be a forest hunter. Okay, so like I said, while those are the basic, like the main ones I've seen people play humans as, there's definitely enough versatility to use any multitude of classes. What was mine? My favorite human character of mine. He was a little rogue. His name was Lucius Beaumont. I was playing two characters at the time. I had Lucius Beaumont, the human rogue, and then I had a human cleric I was playing. His name was Will Scarlett O'Hara. It wasn't until after we had already played like a couple sessions that I stopped and I said, my cleric should have been Lucius and my rogue should have been Will. But anyway, so Lucius, he was a fun little rogue because he had a way of getting out of trouble. You know, it didn't matter what situation they were in. There was actually one point where he had an entire bunch of swords pointed at him, and he talked his way out of it. When we had finished playing, he had just stolen the deed to a mansion from one of our targets. And it was great because you know, he took a look at the deed and he started writing out everything. The other character's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm forging a new deed so that this is my house, my mansion." "Really? What are you gonna call it?" And he looked at them, had a nice little sly grin on his face, and he said, "Casa de Lucius." It was fantastic. And it wasn't until afterward that we realized that underneath the mansion was a self-sufficient gem mine. So there were miners employed there and everything. So I had a steady source of income, which came in really handy, you know, considering the game lasted one more session after that. That was a matter of the DM. He had great ideas, didn't know how to utilize or to go past those ideas. Like they were pretty basic ideas. But I digress. So that is my favorite human character I have played. Would be my least favorite. Oh, I played a human ranger that didn't last very long. No. My sorcerer. It was my first time playing a magic user, and honestly, this character deterred me from playing magic users because up until that point, I had mostly played fighters or rogues. And I was like, well, you know what? I want to try something different. I want to try something new I haven't done before. Plus, it'd be really cool to use fireballs. So, he was my human sorcerer. His name was Barry. Barry You the Killer. That was his full name. And he always introduced himself that way, despite the fact that he spoke just like this, but he always introduced himself as Barry You the Killer. Trying to make it sound more fancy, but no, his full name was really Barry You the Killer. He didn't last long, though. First, the DM killed him in the first 5 minutes of the game, which was absolutely ridiculous because he started the game. We were already set up camp in the middle of the forest, and we were attacked by goblins. I said, okay, sure, fine, whatever. Except the goblins apparently somehow snuck right past our guard, who was an elf, and stabbed me. So everyone at the table started, no, that's absolutely ridiculous. First of all, why did they go past the guy that was awake? If you took out the guard, then you can take out everybody in the camp. Why did they go specifically for him? The word target was thrown around, stuff like that. And DM ended up deciding that, all right, you know what? It didn't happen. It was just a bad dream. You wake up, everything's okay. Because it got to the point where everyone said, no, if that's how we're gonna, if that's how you're gonna run the game, we're gonna walk. We're all gonna leave. And there's nothing a DM hates more, well, dreads more, fears more, dislikes more than the players deciding they don't want to play with you anymore. So everything, fine, whatever, sure. Let's have it be a dream. And then the first real encounter, I got hit by a stray arrow. And I mean a really, really stray arrow. It was an arrow launched from a wall over 300 feet away, and it happened to hit me. And I just stared at the DM, and he's like, well, it does 6 damage to you. And I looked at him, I'm like, first of all, no it doesn't, because an arrow does 1d6 damage max. There's no way you're gonna sit there and tell me that while this guy was shooting at me, he did max damage. Later found out it wasn't even a longbow, so it shouldn't have done that much damage in the first place. And that's when I flat out said, alright, well, I'm done playing this character. Obviously, you got it out for him. I don't know why. And he can't take a hit. So if you're going to have everybody target him, you're going to have stray arrows somehow hit him from that far away and do max damage. Obviously, you're targeting my character. I'm not going to play him anymore. And honestly, I haven't really played a magic user since, unfortunately. But I'm willing to give it a try again. Like, if somebody, like, not as a DM, but as a player, I'd be willing to give magic users a try again. To be fair, I don't really consider clerics or paladins to be real magic users, so. But, alas, that is my most favorite and least favorite human characters I have played. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add that to these video, like do these in the. Sorry, I'm stumbling. I think I'm gonna put those in these videos. I'm gonna have like my favorite of this race, my least favorite of this race, and then when I get more details into the classes, my favorite of this class, my least favorite of that class. Least favorite sorcerer is going to be Barry no matter what. I might broaden it to like the characters I played as a DM though, just to add a little flavor. But anyway, so that is my basic rundown on humans. Feel free to comment below anything you'd like to add or ask. And yeah, I think the next race I'm going to do is going to be Dwarf. Then probably Elf. I think I'm going to do them in the order that they're in the player's handbook. Which means Halfling is going to be last. Oh, no, I'll get more detail into that later. Once I get to Half-Elf, I'll get into Half-Blood details. Anyway, thanks for joining me. And, yeah, I guess I could just throw my outro into this. I mean, I did do my intro and then fade, but anyway. Thanks for joining me for this short tutorial video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment below other things you'd like to know more about, either about the human race or any other D&D mechanics you would like to know about. And I will do my best to get a video out for you. And I think that's it, yeah. And again, as always, don't be afraid to comment below other videos you'd like to see. You know, books read, because I think I'm getting close to being done Twilight, and I mean, I'm going to be doing the second book, but and then the third and fourth, but it's eventually going to need more to read. Any songs, role plays you'd like done, you know, just comment below or join the Discord and talk to me there. So, anyway, right about now, you should be getting the subscribe button up here, the latest video on the channel up here, the video recommended for you by YouTube down here, and a playlist I'm going to put together of these D&D tutorials. Again, thank you for joining me, and as always, have a peaceful day. Bye.